Hey guys, Mix here, and in this video, as you can see behind me, we are starting to reassemble this engine. Well, of course, after we put in the new parts, but then the reassembly process is going to begin, and I'm pretty excited but nervous at the same time because I've never done a bottom end or a rebuild like this in my life. I've done plenty of top end rebuilds. They're really simple, but bottom end, whole different experience with me. So this should be interesting and a good learning experience. Where we have most of the parts just laid out here, nice and organized. We have the new bearings and seals, and then I just got done cleaning up some of the parts and everything. I just cleaned out all the old oil, if any gasket material or anything fell down into the engine, I just took that all out. Got some hardware, just other stuff left in the crate, some small stuff. The nice V-Force 3 reeds. We're probably not going to get to the reeds and everything like that in this video. We're probably just going to get to removing the crank. I have packages I need to open that I got the other day with tools and parts and everything, so we're gonna do a little unboxing of that. But today we should get to replacing the bearings and then starting to reassemble everything around it. Hopefully we'll get up to maybe just getting the whole bottom end done. I don't have a lot of time, so we have to get started, but worst comes to worst, we can just continue on tomorrow. But first, let's start unboxing the new tool that I got yesterday, along with some other parts. So we can't use our usual table for unboxing our packages, so it looks like that we're just going to use the Quantum to unbox our packages. Alright, so here we are. So here's a little backstory before I start unboxing these. When I first got this, I ordered a crank installer / puller, and it came in the mail. I'm like, why is this box so big? I thought the tool was only going to be like maybe this big. I open it up, and I pull out this thing, which is the right tool. It's just way bigger and heavier than I thought it was. So this thing is heavy duty and should be able to do good work. So I put the box down and open this. I haven't opened up this yet. I just opened up that box so you can see what this big tool looks like. Came with some Tusk stickers, so that's cool. But here's the tool. It's pretty simple. We just put it right onto the crankshaft and just basically tighten, and then the crankshaft will move. So that is sick. And if you guys are wondering where I got that tool, I got it from Rocky Mountain ATVMC, and it's pretty ironic because their sticker says RM, and this is for the RM125. So we might slap on a couple stickers on the dirt bike. That would be pretty cool. But next up, we have the full engine gasket set for the RM from topendgaskets.com. Thanks for hooking it up. I'm not going to bother unboxing this because you can see it all, but this is everything for the engine. And finally, I ordered something not for the engine. This is for like cosmetics and how it looks, for like the plastics and everything. But I ordered all new hardware for the plastics, so it'll be nice and shiny and not just the rusted ones that I lost. And it'll definitely make the bike look 1,000 times better. But before we start working and start removing the crank, I'm gonna throw these new bearings into the freezer so they can shrink. So then when we need to reinstall them, I can just go grab them quick and drop them in. So those bearings are now in the freezer. And now I just hooked up the crank puller. I didn't bother recording because I had to read the directions and everything, just because I never used this tool before. But it's a pretty simple setup. So now I need to tighten this down, and then the crank should pull through. So we ran into a little bit of an issue. So this nut is a 28 millimeter, and I don't have a wrench that big or an adjustable wrench that extends that big. So I'm gonna have to go run to the store and pick up an adjustable wrench, and then we can continue with taking off that crank. Got the adjustable wrench. Now we can continue. Okay, so now the crank should just pull right out. We were actually back here the next day. I ended it yesterday just because I didn't have enough time, and I was having issues with taking out the crank. It was not wanting to come out. It needed some tapping with the rubber mallet, and I just got it out a couple minutes ago. So the thing flew out. I just tapped it with the rubber mallet, and yeah, it just flew out, but it's finally out. And here is the bearing that was giving us all the problems, and you guys could just hear how bad this sounds. Yeah, so that thing sounds awful. So we're gonna pop this thing out, and I still have the bearings in the freezer, so those things should definitely be cold enough and should hopefully just drop in. I know sometimes that you need to heat up the engine just a little bit with a torch. I don't have a torch, so I'm hoping that I can just drop them in like I did with this bearing when it fell out. And I know some of you guys were saying to replace the crank, the whole crankshaft while I had it split. But the thing is, 1992 Suzuki All-125 crankshafts are literally like nowhere to be found. If you look it up, it's always gonna say like 01 to 03 or whatever. It's not a 92. I've been looking for months now for a new crank, because heck, I would love a new crank, but like all the ones on eBay or anywhere just look terrible. They're really all rusted, and it looks like that they're just totally shot. I checked motorsport.com, Partzilla, literally any place you name, I checked, and none of them have a 92 crank. So I'm just gonna keep this one. I mean, it's really not that bad. The crank bearings are perfect. There's literally zero up or down movement on the connecting rod, so that is good. And this looks amazing compared to the ones I see on eBay. This one should be fine. It's just really the crank bearings that are really, really bad. That's awful. So we're gonna slap that out, drop the new crank bearings, and then start reassembling this thing. Didn't want to come out, but there it is. So I just grabbed the two new bearings out of the freezer, and they are ice cold, so they should hopefully just drop in without us needing to heat up around the engine. So they should just drop right in. Might need a little tap with the hammer maybe. So it is looking like that we need to heat up around the engine. I'm gonna try the other half and see if the other bearing would go into the other side, but this side definitely not gonna go in. I tried tapping with the rubber mallet, not working, so I'm just gonna try the other side and see what happens. So the other side, no good as well, so I'm gonna have to go out to the store and buy a little torch to heat up around the engine. So I was hoping to just drop it in, because this one dropped in fine when I just cooled it up. But I guess these just don't want to go in, so we're definitely just gonna have to go get that torch. Alright guys, so we're back like 2 days later, and so if you hear like construction or something, there's something going on, I don't know. But I couldn't record yesterday because it did snow. Most of it melted by now, so that's good. But I headed to the I went to Home Depot yesterday and got a torch so we can heat up around the engine so the bearings could drop in. So this should work perfect. Then once we can drop in the bearings, we can start reassembling everything. I am kind of hurrying against Mother Nature right now because it is supposed to downpour starting in just a couple hours. It's supposed to pour for like the next 2 days, so I need to try and get this done so I can get this video up for you guys today. So let's get started. So I'm just gonna wipe out the leftover oil residue, just so when the torch that goes up to 2,000 degrees hits that oil doesn't burn up or anything. So I'm just gonna wipe that out and then heat it up. Usually you want to heat it up until like if you squeeze water on it, it just sizzles. You don't want to make it too hot, but then I could go grab the bearings and then they should just drop in because they are still in the freezer. So for some reason this side is giving me problems. The bearing won't go in. So I'm thinking maybe I just need to heat a little bit more outside because I just been doing mostly just inside, but I think I need to do more of outside. And I just did outside of this, and this one just went in. Just need a little bit hard of a tap with the rubber mallet, but that's in, and that is looking good. So I'm gonna throw this one back into the freezer. Let that chill up again, and then try heating up more around here and see if that works. Alright guys, so I'm trying again, so hopefully it works. So finally, I just got this bearing in. Oh my god, that jackhammer is so annoying. We finally got in this bearing, so now we can finally start reassembling this thing. So now I'm going to be putting on the new seals. And what I find odd is that there are no seal retaining clips. Like there's not even any threads or anything, so I guess they just drop right in. So I'll just drop them in, and then same goes for the other side. So both the new seals are in and fit very nicely. Alright guys, so I'm gonna begin to wrap up the video here. The storm clouds are starting to roll in, but I did start reassembling the transmission, and I read through a diagram and made sure that all the gears are there, in which they are, so that's good. But one thing I'm super confused with, even with the diagram, is where the heck these go. I have all the parts here and everything, but if you guys could, if any of you guys know, educate me down in the comments and tell me where these I believe they're called shift forks, where they go, and that would be really helpful. So before it starts raining on these engines, I'm gonna have to put them inside, because the last thing I want is water on them. But I have parts coming for the quad, so maybe next video will be with the quad, maybe next video will be with the RM. We'll just see what happens. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, friends with the channel.